Welcome to the Upgrading Democracy podcast, which is about an actionable idea how we can make our political systems work better for us. Do you think that politics doesn't represent us? Well, you've been good company. In 2019, a worldwide study in 27 countries found that only 1 in 10 adults think that traditional parties and politicians care about people like them. In America, this is even worse. Only 4% of Americans have a great deal of confidence in Congress. And let me tell you an open secret. This is not just a feeling. They truly don't represent us. One proof? An American study has shown that when preferences of low or middle-income Americans diverge from those of the affluent, there is virtually no relationship between policy outcomes and the desires of less advantaged groups. In other words, they don't give a shit about what you want if you don't have the money to influence them. A German study revealed very similar results. And it doesn't get better. Authoritarian regulations have grown fast in the shadow of 9/11. Now, in times of COVID-19, they make a great leap forward and put civil rights and democracy itself at risk. In the meantime, many current political parties act anti-democratically by weakening the separation of powers, suppressing transparency, obfuscating accountability, decreasing control, and many other activities. Because of the work of these political parties over decades, trust in politics and in democratic institutions is at an all-time low. Voters are in a catch-22 situation. Should they choose pest or cholera? Cholera or pest? Both are no options, but the only options they can choose from. As a result, many voters are tired of politics. They just don't care anymore. They have fallen into apathy, which is dangerous, as it makes a power grab far too easy. Democracy itself and its institutions are at risk. We are in danger to lose rights that our ancestors achieved for us and trusted us with. So the US actress America Ferrara is right. We have to fix our democracy before we lose it. And there is hope. In fact, many of us do care about politics. We are not tired of politics itself, but only of politicians who play for themselves, their party, or their sponsors instead of for us. It is time to reverse this trend and upgrade democracy. This podcast outlines a solution to actively create what we need, a people's champion in parliament who truly speaks for us and cannot be bought by big money. To be able to achieve this, we must rethink the very concept of the political party as a vehicle for representing democratic interests. In this podcast, I will outline an idea about a new breed of political party, which will focus on bringing real democracy and transparency, which will ensure and prove that its internal democratic processes are kept, which will use well-balanced facts instead of manipulative inputs, which will abstain from demonization rhetoric as cheap way of argumentation, which will focus on common ground to a public good, which will give its members the final say, which will focus on the one-to-one representation of its members, all while being efficient and effective in bringing forward the interests of its members while being grassroots democratic. When all of this sounds too lofty and too good to be true, I can assure you that this new breed of party is not only thinkable, but also implementable in the current political systems in most countries of this world. So, come with me, hit subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast.